It's well documented by now that I am not a big fan of the single cavity mop bucket and the cotton string mop. Those traditional mopping systems just spread the dirt around and don't do any kind of cleaning whatsoever. Our options, we have a couple here, divided bucket and double bucket trolley system. And the purpose of this video is to give some insight into helping make the decision of what's going to be best for your situation and or for your facility. By doing that, I'm going to, first of all, talk about what they have in common. Conceptually, they do the same thing. They're going to separate the clean chemical solution from the rinse water. Here in the front compartment of the divided buckets where your clean water goes, gallon of water back here to rinse your mop out in. On this particular double bucket trolley, the side without the wringer is where you put your clean chemical solution, and again, you put a gallon of clear water on the side underneath the wringer so that you can rinse your mop out. They both can accommodate either the tab mop and the tab mop system, or you can use a tube mop system, which is very popular in either of the systems. So they have that in common. They both can come equipped with a down press wringer and or a roller wringer. We sell mostly, and I prefer, frankly, the side press wringer on both. And the reason for that is our side press wringer with either one of these mops will get a nice tight wring out because the two sides actually come together. So whether it's a tab mop or a tube mop, you're going to get a nice tight ring with that side press wringer. How do they differ? And how, what's going to determine which one's right for you? Price point, I think it's pretty obvious. The divided bucket's going to be a little bit less money. Also, it's a smaller footprint. Now that said, and here's where I'm going to start to compare and contrast. People think it's way smaller, but if I put these side by side, the divided bucket's actually a little bit wider than the double bucket trolley. And when I look at the length, and I know that custodial closets are small, but we're only talking about maybe 4 or 5 inches in terms of length. So again, not as big of a deal, I think, size-wise as people think when they're thinking about their tight closets that you're going to fit these bucket systems into. Now, where this really shines or really distances itself from the divided bucket, the double bucket trolley system, I think it should be pretty obvious, it's going to have greater capacity. And what does that mean? That means that my custodian or my housekeeper is going to have less trips to and from the slop sink. I can go further. The other thing is nice about this is that when it comes time to finally rinse out the buckets or dump them and rinse them out, rather than having to pick up that entire bucket, which is what you have to do currently with a traditional bucket or even the divided bucket, these are 2 independent buckets. They are plastic and they have a handle. So when it comes time, when I run out of my clean chemical solution and this side of my rinse water is full, it's a lot easier to pick this up with the handle, plastic, dump it, rinse it easily, reseat it, fill it back up, and when I'm going back to the area that I just left to continue cleaning, the last great advantage of the double bucket trolley is the size of the wheels. The 5-inch casters are twice the size of our divided bucket or any traditional bucket. So you virtually eliminate any kind of sloshing or spilling. So is this more expensive? Yes, it is. But I believe some of the features that I've just covered really make it worthy of your consideration. And at the end of the day, I don't care which one you choose, or if you choose a pocket system, any of them are better than the single cavity mop bucket that spreads dirt. So hopefully this helps.